So as a quick frame to scarcity, right? Scarcity, and you talk about scarcity, you talk about fear, right? And because that's where the scarcity mindset comes from, fear, right? It comes from, we're afraid that something's going to happen. And we're afraid that we're, at the end of the day, not going to have enough of something, right? We're not going to have enough money. We're not going to have enough love. We're not going to have enough of the things that we perceive that we need. And that is an emotion, and the emotion is disempowering, but in some ways it's also empowering. And what we need to do is we need to understand what's disempowering and what's empowering. The story of Abraham Lincoln, if you remember in the leadership circle, we talked about how Lincoln, what many people don't know is that Lincoln had very significant anxiety and depression, and yet was one of the most successful presidents in our history, was a tremendous achiever in his life. And that we lose track sometimes of that the emotions of anxiety can actually serve us, right? Because what happens when we're anxious? Is our focus heightened, or is it reduced?
Reduced.
Is it? If you're anxious about something, are you focused on it or unfocused on it?
Yeah, I kind of misunderstood. Yeah, you can't really escape it or think about it.
Yeah, you're hyper focused on it, right? It's the focus is in some respects we might be over focused, right? The reason that the anxiety exists is because the focus is so great. We can't escape it, right? Can't sleep. Oh, why can't you sleep? Because I was thinking about this. I had anxiety about this, right? If we have anxiety, it's a hyper focus. And where it's empowering is that it is our brain's way of saying, this is something I have to resolve. The problem is when we all have anxiety, right? We all get anxiety. The problem is not that the anxiety, it's the effects of excessive anxiety, right? Anxiety, fear serve us, right? I mean, if we weren't, go back to the prehistoric days, right? I mean, it serves us, right? There's something coming after us. You're going to have some anxiety. You want, right? As you're into the hunt, right? If there's stuff out there that can get you, you want that. That anxiety, that fear, it serves us. So we don't want to necessarily see it as a bad thing. We want to normalize it. Hey, some level of anxiety is normal, right? People talk about stage fright. It's normal, right? You have anxiety. You have anxiety about going up and giving a presentation, or you have anxiety of performing in front of a group of people, right? It's normal to have anxiety as it relates to it. It's how much of it is empowering and how much of it is disempowering. So just to kind of give you that quick frame, when you get anxious about something, don't look at it as a bad reaction. Not necessarily. It's a normal reaction. It's just, okay, what do we do with it now, right? And so what you say is hey, is business going to dry up, right? That's a very common anxiety around entrepreneurs, right? And entrepreneurs of all types have anxiety around, hey, am I going to have enough business? Where's my business? I've got a lot of business now. Am I going to continue to have good business? Or, and that is both empowering and disempowering. The empowering part of it is, what does it do? Does it give you energy, or does it reduce your energy? Having some anxiety about that. Does it give you a little bit of a boost, or does it reduce your energy? Which do you think?
I think when it's a healthy level of anxiety, it gives me a boost.
Yes, absolutely.
I just feel like sometimes I wouldn't say that I hyper focus on it, but I don't want the fear of, of this all going away or whatever to I don't want that to be like the primary driving force, because it's like I don't
Yes.
think that's good.
Right.
And
No.
I want to enjoy where I'm at. And sometimes I think like, okay, well maybe is it as simple as do I just need to tell myself, look, like you've you're going on 10 years in this. Like if nothing else, something's going to show up just because of time. Like
Mhm.
I can pretty much not do any lead gen, and I'll probably have at least a few people reach out over the next few months.
Mhm.
I don't want that to be like something that holds me back. I just want it to propel me forward so that I can do all of these things with more enjoyment, you know?
Yes.
And that's, I think, it's just a very delicate balance to strike. And I don't think I've found that yet.
Yeah. Well, 100%. And part of it I shouldn't say part of it. All of it's around habits and systems.
Mm-hmm.
It's all around habits and systems, right? Because ultimately what you've learned in the last couple of years since we've been together is you've learned the value of a system
Mm-hmm.
of lead generation, of revenue generation, right? That you do this amount of business development and I get this result,
Mm-hmm.
right? If I do this, then I get this, right? And so what allows you to get out of scarcity is that your lead generation system, your system of business development is consistent and can produce a steady return,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you've proven that over these last couple of years. And in particular, you're seeing the fruits of your lead generation system, your business development system. It's now producing great fruit.
Mm-hmm.
How do you reduce scarcity? You stay true to your system, right? That's really when I feel as an entrepreneur, when I feel anxiety around my business, then I lean into my system and I reinforce my habits. And that's what we really need to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Think about it, when you're new as an entrepreneur, you don't know what to do,
Mm-hmm.
right? You don't have a system of business development. You don't have a system that you can count on to produce revenue.
Mm-hmm.
And so you are learning that part of it. And that's why those early years that early year or years of entrepreneurial venture is very, tends to be challenging because we don't have a reliable way to generate revenue.
Mm-hmm.
You have that now, right? You've got your what we call your vortices, your pillars of where I'm going to get, right? If I focus on my sphere of influence, if I focus on my this particular my dog vortex, where I'm connecting with folks who are passionate about dogs, as you lean into these different, and now you're building a vortex as it relates to construction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Development and construction. As you continue to grow your businesses and your enterprises, where the reason that you're able, or the ability to push scarcity and live in abundance, comes from staying true to your systems.
Mm-hmm.
And then the habits, the daily and the weekly habits that get you into that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because the yo-yo happens when we get out of the habit of what?
Of all the things that work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? So that's your, just from a general perspective, there's some amount of anxiety that gives you energy to It's something that motivates you to move, right? Because you're not collecting a paycheck. You eat what you kill, as they like to say, right? You're not collecting a steady paycheck. You have that, you have both the risk and the reward of being an entrepreneur. So there's that anxiety there's some empowerment to that. It creates some giddy up. The disempowering part is when you over focus on it, and usually that comes from a lack of clarity and systems and habits, and then it's just okay, right? The first thing I go back to is my hot leads. I go back to where's my business. I go back to who are my current folks. I go back to my business development pillars, right? Okay, I got to reach out to my sphere of influence. I got to check in, right? It's a constant circle